one root with one other plant, and on their own they don't do anything, but together like they each activate a separate compound. Ayahuasca, I don't know that I'll ever do it again, and I think my body does not tell me to do that anymore.
Is it hallucinogenic?
Very.
Yeah, like I did it one time, and I think that my underwear, so I've done that, and I've also mixed it with other things too. So ayahuasca is kind of the one that gets like the most publicity, but there's, like hundreds and hundreds of different plants in the jungle, and they all like are used for different things, and the people that know what they're for, like they know,
like a
they
shaman
cure people
type
with
of
them.
person.
But there's also like a lot of fake industry too now.
Okay.
So you can kind of a lot of people do get into trouble. Like I don't think you can be addicted to it because it is so unpleasant. It is just like,
you did it in a strip mall in New Jersey. Like, who the fuck had ayahuasca in the strip mall? Like, oh, hi, we're in front of Spencer's.
People bring it, people bring it back from.
Right, but this is why, Mel, a lot of people that want to seriously do it for, they have like, it's supposed to give you like a breakthrough, right, Natalie? Of like, I don't know what the point is, but there's some serious point of doing it. But that's why they all fly to like Peru and they get a shaman, and it's very controlled, and it's like Natalie said, you're not getting some creepo on the street giving you some shit, and they watch you, they know how much to give you, and they have a bathroom there so you can puke and shit. It's a lot. It's a lot. Did you get sick every time?
Well, so with ayahuasca, 9 times out of 10 you will vomit, and if you don't, it's worse, because then like that next morning it has to come out. I would rather it come out that way, It's not like throwing up in the same way. Like if you eat something bad and you're sick, or if you're, it's like a spiritual, like it doesn't feel good, but you definitely are like releasing stuff that you feel like should not be in you.
Right. So why do people do it? Like, oh my God, they're crying. You got to watch Chelsea Does Drugs. Okay. It's a whole series, Mal. And it's like 4 different ones. And one is Chelsea Does Politics, Chelsea, whatever. So watch Chelsea Does Drugs, or you can I'm sure there's a million documentaries you can watch on that. But if you want to be more entertained, because it's Chelsea and another famous person she's good friends with that did it together.
Like creativity enlightenment or like mental health enlightenment?
I mean, it's so different for everybody. But I mean, I've written some stuff, not on ayahuasca, but on San Pedro. Like I have probably close to 100 pages of just like, and it's funny because I think while I'm on it, I'm still like conscious enough to be like, how can I make this funny? Which is kind of sad. But I have, probably like more than 100 pages of stuff that I've written. And it's just like, this is insane. Because it's like, I do think that we know so much and we block it out, and things are actually very, very simple, and we complicate things. And it's kind of like you get like, right now I'm back to normal. Like the last time I went to Peru was in May, and you're there and you're like, this is it, my new life. But then like a few weeks later, you're kind of back to your old patterns, and it's not like this magical pill or anything. But I think it is something you can work with like as a tool like throughout your life.
So when you went, did you do ayahuasca then?
No, I did San Pedro, which is it's just like a cactus juice. And so it's very different. Like ayahuasca you do at nighttime, and this you do in the daytime. And it's very beautiful. Like you see like all the plants are glowing. And it's very, I would say it's the most like MDMA, or like it's more of like a feeling, like you're not like talking to elves that aren't there, or like seeing a snake, or a
like
tiger.
Acid or like
ayahuasca, like I felt like there was a stingray on my stomach, and I was like paralyzed for 3 hours. I was like, don't move.
That's not fun.
Stingray is on you. What?
That's not enjoyable.
No, it's not. It's not at all. And also there's another time on ayahuasca, like there's usually like drumming, and I was convinced that I was like having a baby. I think because of like the drumming, I was like, oh, I was having like a contraction. So in my like spiritual like interpretation, I was like, oh, I'm giving birth, like I'm a woman, and like I ended up just farting, but I thought it was a baby. Like I felt like, oh my god, like
Natalie,
I can give life.
Do you fucking do a bit about this? You gotta do a bit about this.
I think like talking about like psychedelics is so weird. It's hard. It's hard. Maybe if like everyone in the audience would know what I was talking about.
That's true. But I mean, if
but
you
I think people would just be like, this person is insane.
No, but like, I mean, like you were like, I had this enlightenment. Having a beautiful baby. And
sometimes my farts feel like I've given birth, when you let it out. Or when you poop really good and you're like, oh, I think I just gave birth into the toilet.
They make you wear like all white, and then everybody shits themselves or like pukes on themselves. So it's really like the worst. Like you should go and wear leopard print because it like camouflage it.
So everybody's just, you know what? I don't want to do this drug.
So beautiful. Like I was thinking to go this week, believe it or not. I would be there right now if it weren't for the fact that I'm really irresponsible and I always lose my passport. So I gave my passport to my mom, and she was supposed to come for Thanksgiving, and then she couldn't. So I don't have a passport. But if not, I would have gone. Because I think it's like.
Where do you do that?
So there's this woman. Her name's Leslie.
Right.
And she's from South Africa. She's like a white woman that's been living in Peru for like 40 years, and she has a house in the mountains. And her sons. Like they grow all this in their garden and they work with like local people. And yeah, I've been to her place 4 times.
How did you find
less
her?
than 5 years. I don't know. She's like one of the main people in Cusco. Like she has a guest house and
oh my God,
it's
take
it's
me.
legal,
Take me.
Like an Airbnb.
Let's go. I'm ready to go.
Could you see Natalie take my old ass there? I'm like shitting myself. Natalie's like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Let's all go.
Natalie, isn't it a beautiful baby?
Just don't give Cindy an internet connection. Then she'll be ordering shit off Amazon on San Pedro.
Natalie, it's bad. If they have internet, I can't do it. We got to take my phone. Could you imagine what I would buy on that?
I know.
What do you like to buy?
Oh, Natalie, I get really wasted at night. By like midnight, I'm gone. I take my Ambien and I don't go to sleep. Like that's the trick. Take the Ambien and stay awake and bad shit happens, right? I ordered 30 pairs of knockoff Ray-Bans from China. They all came. I'm like, 30. And that's not the first load of them. I have so many fucking Ray-Bans. They're knockoffs too, but they're everywhere. Every style, they're in my car seats. They're everywhere. I buy a lot of knockoff shit from China, like but I've been really good lately. But I do shop on it. I do occasionally, lose control. But I know like that's part of my bit is like when I come home from work and there's a stack on my porch of packages, I know 2 days prior, I was really fucked up. I'm like, oh shit, Cindy, it's Wednesday, Monday was a bad night. With Prime 2 day, right now, do you ever see my Instagram? I've got a little 2-pound chihuahua, right? And I got all these things to carry him. We're going to go to open mic. He sings. I play the harmonica and he sings. So he was going to go up on stage with me. And she's like, he gets too nervous. He can't go. So I have all these things to carry Pico in, but she won't let him go out. She's a very strict mother and she stifles him.
Well, how does he get nervous? Does he bite?
No, she just feels like he's nervous. He's special needs. He doesn't bite. He looks like this.
One of my roommates has a tiny chihuahua and takes him everywhere. Like she took him to Vegas.
Yes. My girlfriend won't let me take him anywhere. She's a very strict mother and she's stifling his life.
Yeah, she's got to let him loose.
To fly.
He has his own Instagram. If he has his own Instagram, he could definitely leave the house.
Yeah, I know, my poor Peak. But Yeah, so Natalie found the queen of the cactus in the mountains of Peru, and she has a. Now, Natalie, you fly in. I want to know what your trek is to get to this lady's home.
It's forever.
I know.
Forever.
So tell me
Do you have guides that show
let's
you?
start out. Like, you get to the airport, and how many? All right, is it one layover or 5?
Well, so Miami, you can't fly to Cusco direct. You have to fly to Lima. So Miami to Lima.
Right.
I feel like
that's
you
long.
can get
Yeah.
them.
And once you get to
A
Lima,
lot of
then
times
what?
you have to stay overnight if there's just not a flight. But if
Okay.
you feel like you're like, I don't mind flying, and I mind that trip. Like, I won't go for a week anymore. If I'm gonna go, I want to go for like a month.
Wow.
Sometimes I think, what if I just like lived there full time, and then like every couple months just came back to do comedy? Because I feel like I would be a much better, healthier person if I was like regularly like living in the mountains, like on San Pedro all the time.
Wait, so from Lima you take another flight.
Yeah, so
and you might have to stay overnight. Oh, you do?
You might have to. If not, like, you have to wait a few hours. The flight from Lima to Cusco isn't that long, and then this house is maybe an hour drive from Cusco. But the thing is, Cusco is really high altitude, so you have to let your body adjust for a couple of days. I don't usually get that sick, but it's a little bit hard to breathe, and I already find it hard to breathe. Like, I'm just like a heavy breather. So
you're carrying a lot on top. It's hard to breathe. I don't want you in those mountains. You can suffocate.
Yeah.
The mountains.
I'm like her mother now.
I know.
You can't go to the mountains. You're going to suffocate. Don't wear that corset either in those mountains. You'll never breathe.
It takes a couple of days where you're like chewing on coca leaves and like drinking these special teas and, just kind of getting adjusted to it. And then you don't eat the night before, and then you wake up at like 8 in the morning, you drink, this is the worst tasting thing that I have ever had in my mouth. It is like green, slimy battery acid. It is disgusting. And you drink a cup of that, and then it takes like a few hours to work, and it lasts like more than like 18 hours. Like, for most people, I think they're like, oh, it's just like all day, and then at night it kind of wears off. But for me, it lasts forever. Like, I can't sleep on it,
Me and Mel are like, what the fuck are you doing? Natalie, this is crazy.
And then does anybody know, does your mother know where you are? I mean, does somebody have the address if they have to get to you?
I made my mom come with me once, and I made her do it.
Oh, love your mother. Are you kidding?
Your mother's probably my age. How old is your mother?
She's 64.
Oh, okay.
She's my age. So your mother.
How did she like it?
She hated it. She was like, I'm only doing this for you, Natalie. And then my mom is very like, she thinks she's an astrologer. She thinks she's psychic. She's very like spiritual.
Is she like a hippie?
She's like a computer software person by day, but then by night, she's just like the full moon ceremony and the crystals, she's a little bit new age, I guess. But she was like talking to all our ancestors. She was freaking out. When I do it, I'm pretty calm, but it was much stronger for her.
Wow. Mel, I don't even know what to think.
I don't know.
Are you in or no?
I don't know. I'm even afraid to do acid. I mean, I've just smoked weed and drank. I'm afraid to do acid. I'm afraid that it's just a bad trip. I don't know.
I've never done acid. I don't drink. I don't smoke weed. I've never smoked a cigarette.
You make up for it.
I just go straight to this.
I don't know. So when you go up there, is it like a secret location only certain people know? Or
I know. How do you find this?
You can find it on TripAdvisor. Like, it's totally legal there. It's not.
Can you